I know you will do House Idukan proud.
Look, the Grey
My lord,
Warden...
many thanks for your willingness to hear me out, my lord. I wish to speak to you of a matter most urgent. There is a vote coming before the Assembly next week, and a word from you could go a long way towards helping our cause. The vote concerns the status of the so-called surface caste. Lost to the stone, air-touched, and so forth. Centuries ago, narrow-minded men declared that any dwarf who left to live on the surface forfeited his caste, and his house if noble. That he was, in essence, no longer a dwarf. I seek only to remedy an injustice, to retie the bonds of anyone who can trace himself to one of the noble houses wherever he may live. Please, agree to speak for this noble cause. Those on the surface are our lifeline. They facilitate trade with the surface. They're honorable and, oh, let's be honest. I don't care a whit for those who have wandered from the stone. My wife, however, is a gem of a different color. She has a cousin, a useless sort, but she's quite fond of him. He joined a speculative venture to the surface, hoping to make his fortune, and went bust. Now he wishes to come home, but he cannot, for he has no house and would be casteless. For my wife's sake, I take up his cause. Will you lend me your voice? I keep my ears to the stone, my lord. I hear many things, some of which could be a great help during your mission tomorrow. A little forewarning to help your forearming, if you know what I mean. When your father presents you to the noble houses, I will ask for your opinion on the matter. You have merely to say that you feel our surface brothers should be returned their noble rights. What could be more simple?
No sign of trouble here. I am at your service.
You know your name has been mentioned in the assembly.
May the Paragons watch over your command. Your mother would melt the stone if she knew what you just did. Lord Dace is playing you false. Go ahead, be his puppet. Your first command will be marked by every major house turning their back on you. Last spring, a guild from the merchant caste invested heavily in an expedition with a guild from the surface. Lord Dace backed the merchant guild, pouring a great deal of money into the venture. The expedition was a disaster. Lord Dace lost a great deal of money and prestige. The Surface Guild has no way to repay the investment, but it does have several leading members who are descended from noble houses. House Helmi, Bimo, Idukan.
She's saying that if the air-touched dwarves have their connections to their houses restored, you'll end up footing the bill for Lord Dace's disaster.
Oh, if I were 20 years younger, I'd bed you just to get some of that quick wit in my house. Your house and mine would be forced to pay the Surfacer's kin debts. It would be a great victory for Lord Dace. If you call his bluff, then you lose your chance to turn the tables. Let him think he has you. Smile and nod, and when he asks his question, Tell him that the so-called Surface Caste are right where they belong. That should take Lord Dace down a peg or two. You're welcome. Remember this when my house needs your assistance.
You return. Were my instructions unclear? And what did she have to say? I see. Some preposterous story, I'm sure. I suppose it could. I mean, well, it's the spirit of the law that's important, right? Our poor, disenfranchised service brothers. Well played, Your Highness. Welcome to Assembly politics. Now, if you'll excuse me... You've won. Don't be stupid about it.
You forget who you're speaking to. This is the guest of honor and child of the first house of Orzammar.
For now. We shall see what the future holds. Trian's grasp on the throne is in no way certain, and much can happen before then. Now let me be. You haven't made a friend here today.
Good to see you.
My lord.
I am at your service.
Greetings, my lord Idukan. It is an honor to meet you at last. I have had the opportunity to recently meet with your father. He speaks highly of you. He says you may be the most skilled warrior in all of House Idukan. I have no doubt it is deserved. We need more Grey Wardens like you, and quickly. Even as the Darkspawn weakened here in Orzammar, they are stirring on the surface. A blight has begun. Soon the fight must go beyond the deep roads, lest the Darkspawn threaten all the world. Alas, I do not think he would take kindly to that suggestion. As the child of the king and heir after Lord Trian, your place is here. You know of our dedication to destroying the Darkspawn, our frontline presence during a blight. What else would you know? Over the centuries, many dwarves have made names for themselves in our order. These days, however, there are fewer dwarves and thus even fewer Dwarven Grey Wardens. A pity, since Dwarven warriors have the most experience fighting Darkspawn. Being a Grey Warden means abandoning all ties to your old life. It means dedicating yourself to destroying the Darkspawn. I'm afraid not. Grey Wardens go where they're needed most. Right now, that is on the surface at the ruins of Ostagar, where the Human King gathers his armies to face the Blight. Truly? Then I will speak to your father after tomorrow's battle. I have my doubts he will relent, but there is always hope. Until then, good luck to you. Show the Darkspawn what your people are made of.
May House Edukan grow in strength and power.
Good day, Lord Idukan. I am at
I'd
your
watch my
service.
back if I...
My king, please reconsider. Trade contracts alone could bring great prosperity to our houses.
Will we really turn our back on our brothers and a potential fortune in cheap labor because of a political technicality?
Denial of the traditions of our people does not qualify as a political technicality.
There is more to life than monetary gains, my lords Bimo and Mino. The Assembly of Kal Sharok will respect the rule of Orzammar, or they will rot and die alone, surrounded by enemies.
Yes, my king.
But look, we have company to spare us further wrangling. Atrast Vala, my son. How fine you look in your great-grandfather's armor. I hear you were declared champion of the Provings. I suppose you were never one to sit by when something exciting was going on. Are you ready to be presented to the heads of the noble houses? These rituals have their place. It behooves you to get to know the nobles and let them know you. Lords, ladies, grant me a moment of your time. We are here today so I may present to you my second eldest child, blessed by the stone and born of the blood that ran in the veins of the Paragon Aeducan. Who would pose a question to the prospective commander? Who seeks to know the prospect better? No? Very well then. The ritual is complete. I give you Orzammar's next commander. Tomorrow, our newest commander will lead part of a mission to strike a great blow to the Darkspawn. Not only does this recover access to some of our most important mines, but it also allows our honored guest Duncan, head of Ferelden's Grey Wardens, to strike far into the deep roads.
Thank you, King Endrin. While the Darkspawn seem to withdraw, it is only because they are massing on the surface. This could mean a blight, and my men and I will discover the truth.
We are honored to have you with us, my friend. Now, feast, drink, and celebrate, for the morning brings battle! As for you, my new commander, find your brother Trian and send him to me. He may be watching the Provings, or getting some rest in his rooms. Don't question everything. Just go for the ancestors' sake. Quickly, find Trian and send him to me.
May the ancestors grant us victory against the Darkspawn.
If it isn't our newest commander, congratulations, Your
Your
Highness.
father is very proud of you. Congratulations.
I am at your service.
I am at your service, my lord.
Let's get started. Your Highness, what a surprise. I apologize if we are in your way.
Lord.
You look exceptionally striking today, my lord.
I am at your service.
I am at your service. I am at your service. I am at your service.
So you're a commander now, in name at least. Shouldn't you be attending our King Father?
Interesting. I would have been at the feast, but Trian had need of me.
The world does not stop and start with your meager achievements. Not even tonight. Now, do you have some purpose in bothering us? Of course he does. We must discuss strategy before tomorrow's battle. Balin, stay here and stroke the new commander's conceit if you like. But then get to bed.
All day I've put up with that. He can really grate on the nerves. And what I'm going to tell you next won't make you any more fond of him. Trian has begun to move against you. I never thought his much-proclaimed honor would allow him to actually act on his jealousy. Big brother, Trian is going to try to kill you. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I hadn't overheard him giving orders to his men. Trian's decided you're a threat to his taking the throne. Maybe he's right. He fears what you are becoming, in the eyes of the people and the Assembly. Trian's the named prince, but only the Assembly can proclaim a king. It would be unusual for the Assembly to ignore the king's choice, but it does happen.
The founder of House Vimo became a paragon and king in one move from the Assembly, and he was a commoner.
That was an extraordinary case, but at least a half-dozen times the Assembly named a lesser family member, or even someone from another house, as king. Usually, it's the popular younger brother of an undesirable prince. Look at it from his perspective. You're more personable than he's ever been. You entered the provings held in your own honor just for glory and to please the crowds. If you win glory against the Darkspawn tomorrow, it will only strengthen the case for you as the next heir. Trian fears Father will replace him on the spot. If not, the Assembly will surely turn against him when Father dies. You know his pride will never allow him to step aside. You're the elder. I'll follow your lead as always.
Permission to speak freely? Trian would make a terrible king, but no one wants to say it. He has just enough backing in the Assembly to make it ugly when your father dies, but not enough to become king. Killing him now makes your house stronger and saves a great deal of bloodshed later.
Very well. I'll keep my eyes open. I don't want to lose the brother I actually like. You're welcome. I'm taking your place as Father's second, so I'll be at hand tomorrow. For now, try to get some sleep.
Let's go. You don't want to keep those lovely ladies waiting.
Trian and his men will clear the way for the Grey Wardens to descend into the easternmost caverns. Those caverns are still infested by the worst of the Darkspawn. We cannot risk our own troops in there.
Understood, Lord Harrowmont. We should be able to sense the Darkspawn and avoid them once the way is open.
May the Paragons favor you, and the stone catch you if you fall.
Come then! Glory awaits!
Balin, you and your men will second the king, clearing the main road.
Don't you think it looks a little cowardly to allow these humans to take our place where the fighting is thickest?
Are you questioning the battle plan?
Of course not. I'm sure your caution is for the glory of us all.
Enough, Balin. Take your men and make ready. Harrowmont and I need to have words with your sibling.
Good luck, my brother.
Your father has a special mission for you.
In the eastern deep roads, there is a secret door carved into the stone.
The door leads to a Taig, abandoned long ago by your ancestors. The Darkspawn have made it impossible to reach.
My father believed that the shield of the Paragon Aidukan remains in that tag, under the stones of the central room. Reclaim the shield, and glory will be yours. My father's writings speak only of the shield. There may be countless other treasures, but only the shield matters.
We've sent 2 scouts ahead to make sure the tunnels are cleared. But be careful. One of the scouts will meet you at the first crossroads you come to. The second will be further in. When you get to the door, use your signet ring to open it. Questions? The crossroads where you meet the first scout will be the rendezvous point. There you can present the shield to the Lords and demonstrate the strength of Aidukan.
May the ancestors watch over you, my child.